Busy is a built-in feature of life. Distractions are everywhere. You're probably overworked and overcommit. But the thing is, this much stress takes a serious toll on your health. In this book, you'll discover why simply managing your time isn't enough. Drawing on the author's experience recovering from burnout, you'll learn how to align your three core assets, time, energy, and priorities, to avoid burnout and start living at your best. In his quest to live at a pace he could sustain, the author looked at what other top performers did so well. What he found was that they didn't only manage their time. They also had a strategy to leverage their energy and priorities so that all three worked for rather than against them. As soon as he brought these three key assets in sync, he not only recovered from professional burnout, but also found himself thriving physically, spiritually, and with his family. The first key asset is focus time. One reason you never have enough of it is a failure to focus your time. You probably treat all hours equally, but they're not. Your time gets eaten up by distractions and small tasks. The day gets away from you, and you don't get around to the important things. While most people know they're competing against time, few think about their energy, the second key asset. When you fail to leverage your personal energy levels, you end up squandering your most productive and valuable time, leaving you with little energy for the important tasks. The third and final key asset is priorities. Your priorities can easily get hijacked when you allow others to determine what you get done each day, as they force you to focus on their priorities rather than your own. The key is learning to say no, and feeling okay about it. It's 2 p.m. and you're trying to focus on your colleague's presentation, but you practically need toothpicks to keep your eyelids open. Sound familiar? You may have noticed that your energy waxes and wanes throughout the day. This is perfectly normal. It's true even for doctors. Researchers found that the rate of adverse events among anesthesiologists, for example, increases as the day goes on. The important thing is to understand your energy cycle so you can get it working for you. While everyone's energy cycle is different, if you're like most people, you have a good 3 to 5 hours each day when you're at your best. The author calls this your green zone, and it's characterized by being focused, productive, and in good spirits. Despite having a limited number of high-energy hours, many people use their precious green zone randomly and non-strategically for things like routine meetings or answering emails. Instead, this time should be used for your most important and demanding tasks. What about the other hours of the day? Your yellow zone is when you feel neither at your best nor worst. It's no wasteland, you can get many things done in the yellow zone, just not your best things. Your red zone is when you're at your lowest energy. You feel sluggish and struggle to pay attention. It's when you really have to force yourself to do just about anything. You've identified your energy cycle, you know when you're in your green zone and feeling energized. You also know when the energy starts to curb into your yellow zones. And finally, you know which times of the day you're struggling through most tasks in your red zones. So, what should you actually do in each zone? Thriving is all about maximizing your green zone by completing the tasks that matter the most, your gifts, your passion, and your impact. Your gifts include anything you find easy that others find difficult. The talents unique to you. For example, the author can speak in front of large audiences without much prep or notes, something that terrifies many, but don't settle for natural aptitude. Your green zone is also for developing those gifts. Use this time to improve on your skills, learn something new, and practice. Your passion is what you love to do. You're most likely passionate about what you're good at, but your passion can extend beyond your gifts. Look for activities that give you energy rather than drain you, that you find rewarding or can't live without. These may include hobbies or spending time with loved ones. Lastly, focus your green zone on tasks that make the biggest difference. These are often the core responsibilities that bring the highest value to your organization. Or big life goals, such as writing a book. Ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish with my life? Spend your green zone time on getting there. You settle into your desk and open the calendar. To your complete surprise, it's completely empty. From 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., not a single appointment. This is perfect, you think. You can finally start that big project you've been dreaming about. Maybe write a new blog post. But then, there's a knock at the door. A colleague just needs 5 minutes, which turns into 20. Meanwhile, your inbox has filled up and an emergency afternoon meeting is called. When you finally return to your desk, the day is almost over. What happened? You worked all day, but accomplished 0 goals. What happened is your priorities got hijacked by distractions and tasks you didn't prioritize. You spent the day reacting to everything that came your way. These seemingly urgent, but unimportant tasks eat up your time if you let them. Minimizing distractions is essential. In our tech-driven culture, everything is competing for your attention. One study found that the average person touches their smartphone 617 times in a single day. No wonder you can't focus. So be sure to turn off those notifications. It also helps to do your best work in your best environment. You're like a plant that way, you need the right ecosystem to thrive. Set yourself up for success by creating a cozy and distraction-free workspace. As a child, the author spent a lot of time at his grandma's. Every day at 10 o'clock, her friend Nancy called. Grandma always picked up, but reluctantly, because Nancy could talk for hours. Grandma never figured out a polite way to cut the call short, sometimes soliciting her grandson's help to save her instead. You've learned that all the wrong things usually want your attention, hijacking your focus and priorities. But what about people? Relationships are important, and you also don't want to be mean. Navigating the demands for your time is part of life. It's important to have a clear strategy for saying no, or you will default to yes. Try to say no in a gentle way, so you don't burn bridges and hurt feelings. For example, tell people you'd love to meet with them, which is likely true. Express empathy that you can't, but be firm. Redirect them to another person or resource for help. And lastly, express gratitude for thinking of you and reaching out. A few years ago, the author bought a new SUV, and in no time he'd racked up over 300,000 miles. It was still in great shape, and people kept asking how he got such great mileage out of it. But there was no great mystery, he simply always took it in for the recommended service. Fixing something before it breaks is often easier and less costly than after it breaks. We all know that stress is part of life. So is change. And both stress and change can threaten to pull you back into a spiral of stress. So let's explore some strategies to maintain thriving and prevent breakdown. The strategy is to schedule all your priorities, including time with your family. That's because a blank space on your calendar can be a trap. When the author was at a board meeting, for example, he found himself saying yes to a Saturday barbecue because his schedule was clear. Keep in mind that the week will never turn out perfectly as planned, and that's okay. Don't aim for perfection. But scheduling all your priorities helps keep you on track. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more book discussions.